How-tos and pro tips for the Hedgehog toiletry roll. Got one hanging up, already rolled out here, but I want to show you how we got there. When your Hedgehog shows up, it'll look like this, more like a bag. So we'll start with the front. There's the card slot, and you're going to get a card that's included that is survival tips. Now, it seems like kind of a chintzy piece, but there's actually a reason for that I will get to shortly. It's waterproof and tear-proof. Of course, if you have a number of these, you can put your names in there so you know whose is whose or whatever else you want. Now, as far as opening it, the top's going to be compressed. And to release it, there's a short tab with a round pull. And when you pull that out, that's a cord release. And that'll loosen up the top. When you're all done and you roll the roll back into the bag, you're going to pull the short release with the round pull the opposite direction. And the longer red tab pulling out will actually compress the top down. So to open it, I'll use that short tab, pull in the opposite direction, cord release, and that allows us to actually get the roll all the way out. Now, of course, you saw the one that's mounted behind me already, and the way that we did that was we removed the hook that's stored in the top compartment here. Now, depending on where you are, that hook may not be large enough. If you need to go around a roof rack or a tree or something, if you turn it over, we have our second mounting system, which the G-hook will come hooked in here. We unhook that. It's an expandable piece of webbing that allows you to wrap it up and around something much larger and then come back into this web loop. So now you can go around anything that's, much larger. So you've got two options for hanging, so no matter where you go, hanging won't be a problem. Now the storage bin, which is also the storage bag, as you see deployed here, there may be a time where you don't want that. You don't want stuff to get in there, or you don't have enough room for height. And so that's the reason that the card that comes in there is the way that it is. It rolls up easily. So let's go ahead and do the roll and stow feature here of the storage bin. Just start at the bottom and roll it up nice and tight. And then when you get here, you see this piece of webbing pops out, and then you got another hook on the red webbing. And if you feed that right through there, that lower piece will now stay held. So you could do that when it's hung as well. Now I'll show you basically in use as it's hanging in the back here. You've got your T-pullers on the storage pouches, which make easy access to your stuff. The top pocket's expandable, so you kind of loosen up the base of that. You could tuck the lid back in, and that allows you, when you set up, if you're going to be at camp for a while or wherever, the stuff that you're going to access easily, your shaving cream, toothbrush, toothpaste, all that kind of stuff, you can spread everything out so you're not having to dump into the pouches over and over again. You've also got the storage bin down at the bottom. You could use that to store stuff in. You could put your PackTowel, your cell phone, your keys. Now you're not having to look for a spot to store your stuff. You can do that there. And then when you're done, you basically just go back to how you had everything stored. Zip those up. Now if you needed to do a short trip out for a bit, you didn't want to pack the whole thing up, but you wanted to take some stuff with you, both of the pouches are removable. So it's easy. You could take a small amount of stuff with you, and then when you get back to camp or wherever you are, you just stick that back on like so. Of course, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a mirror, and you need to know what's going on, you've got your mirror stored up in the top piece there, which tucks away. You can use it flat, so if you don't want a hanger or you don't have stuff to hang it from, you can use it flat. The storage bin that you use for hanging also works on flat. If you don't have anywhere clean to set your stuff or whatever, you can always pull your items out and use this space to set them in here. That'll keep them nice and clean. Then when you're all said and done, and now you're ready to go, you roll it up back into its bag, and using that cord compression, pulling both pullers, presses the top, gets it nice and neat. One last pro tip, you can also use this as a mini tool roll. So if you got any questions, let us know.